guys, this is Alan from Plangora, and this will be our first hands-on video to explain the basics of Elixir programming. And of course, it won't be a programming video until we actually do an official Hello World program. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Alright, one of the very basic first things to understand about Elixir is that it's made up of modules. And functions, because of course this is a functional programming language, have to be contained within a module. And so modules are a way to organize functions, right? So for instance, there's something called the I/O module, which deals with input and output, like when you want to get input from a user and when you want to output something back to the screen or somewhere else. But in order to actually create a module, we need to use the def module keyword. And I'll go ahead and show you that later on. Now, of course, with this being a functional language, we're going to have to actually create functions too. So, functions are created using the def keyword. So def module for defining a module, but def for defining a function. And functions, as I said before, need to be defined within a module. So we're just going to go ahead and define ourselves a nice little hello world module and maybe a hello function. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's get started. So I went ahead and created an empty folder for us. Now what we want to do is we want to create a new file. We'll call it Elixir, let's call it hello world.exs. So EXS stands for an Elixir script, which means that it won't actually be compiled into an actual compiled file. We can go more into that later on, but just follow along with me. So again, like I said before, we need to actually define a module, right? So we use def module. We can use the same name. In Elixir, we use camel case for module names. And we need to use the do keyword. Everything between do and end is within our module. So let's define a hello world function. And something to note, which we're going to do right now, is that whenever we want to, well, let's think back again, right? We want to output hello world. And so, and what I've already talked about, we have to use the I/O module to actually output that. So the I/O module is just I/O, and we use the word puts. And it's a function, so we need to use these brackets. And a string is simply using double quotes. And then we'll just write hello world. So again, this is how you would call this puts function on the I/O module. So now if we want to call our function, because this is going to be a script, right? We can just do hello world and call our function. Save that. And then we just use the elixir command to call that. And there we are. There's our very first program, our hello world program. Now, this is a very simple program, but as we go along, we're going to make it much more difficult and much more expanded. So I invite you guys to please subscribe and hang around for the next video, and I'll see you then soon.